Question 3. What advice would you give someone who would like to become a real estate photographer?
That I must say the real estate photography market seems very saturated. But I think the fortunate thing these days are that, especially with the younger generations, that they're so used to use AI and programs that just kind of give you the results so much quicker. So I think, if you were interested in doing real estate and you look around and you see, geez, that's just photographers everywhere, don't despair yet. Look at what you can offer, because you might not just do real estate photography in the beginning. You might do a bit of wedding photography as well, or events and that. And the big thing is to build up your equipment and your confidence with your software programs, and then kind of see with real estate photography, am I going to be a photographer that uses a flash the whole time? There are photographers that don't use a flash. But then again, with them, the kind of editing the photos might be a bit of a different and longer process even. So you need to see kind of what you want to do.
Definitely, I've noticed actually, that is why I like using my
So you're going to see, you're going to meet some photographers that say, oh, just use a flash. Others are getting away with not using a flash.
I think there's definitely a lot of need for old school. I feel old school. Is it old school? I think flash is old school, and I think it still definitely helps, because you can use programs and things to improve on the lighting and stuff like that. But I think it shows.
The technology is changing at a rapid rate.
Insane.
But you just can't still compare it with a proper camera photo. And I mean, there are some areas where somebody might take a video in the evening outside and you just think, wow, the colors in that is just amazing on the phone.
Yes.
So there are definitely little pockets where the cell phones are really just improving tremendously.
Correct.
And I would say then you have to look at speak to agents, hear what they would like if they had to call out a real estate agent. What are the extras they like? Because you might have some way of formulating or editing a video that's much quicker, and they've got something they can use much quicker. So look at all the needs of your different agents that you're going to work with and see if you can give them a more encompassing package. I think that will probably what the younger generation will probably succeed with much more than even we did.
Okay.
And we just, unfortunately, in a society where things are just happening so much quicker these days.
It's very alarming actually. But
So I mean, now we know when people say the years just flew by.
It really is. And even my eldest son, who is 21, he actually said that to me the other day. He hasn't liked being an adult because he now realizes how quickly time goes.
Oh, I miss all those school holidays.
That's exactly what he said. He's like, when he was in primary school, he was like so wishing to be in high school and be out of school. And he's like, there now. I'm like, that's what I told you. It goes by so fast.
It does. But I think, I try and keep up to date with technology, but it's difficult. And I think maybe a slight downside when you're a solo photographer, you might not always be in that office environment where people are playing with the latest technology or talking about the latest technology. So you always have to kind of make sure that you're part of some group and you keep up to date on what's happening and you keep up to date in some way with what the real estate agents are going through, because needs change.
Correct.
If you think back 10 years just from what we needed to now, what the requirements are, it's a major change.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at that period of COVID, there was no viewing, so people relied heavily on the video.
And
there was videos
up to that
everywhere.
Stage, video was never really
exactly, and then all of a sudden it stopped. It's gone back to just photos.
So
because people, people still want to see something, with their own eyes. They don't want to see a video,
which I think is a good thing in Africa.
Because you cannot trust anything.
We have had literally agents with clients that have phoned them and bought a house over the phone. And you think, how do you?
How do you do
I
that?
don't know how I would be able to do that, because I would like to see the results in the house
Yeah,
first, or the actual
definitely.
house, before I buy it. But you do get those people, which
Sure.
really kind of to me is like a very interesting phenomena.
Yeah, no, that is
And it,
definitely.
but yeah, I think there will always be a spot for a photographer,
Yeah, definitely.
and there will always be a spot for a videographer. And
Mm,
I think videography is changing the real estate market quite a bit. So
mm,
people that are very clued up with the
mm,
videography side, I
mm,
think that is fantastic. I
mm,
wish that is a side that I'd been more keen on
mm.
from the start.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's also something that only later I started
Mm,
realizing how fantastic it is.
mm,
So yeah, if you real, if you're a photographer and you like the videography side, I mean, go for it.
mm,
Just see where you can expand your skills, and
mm.
then see who would like to use your skills.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Mm.
there's a whole world out there.
It's huge. I think in every single industry, it is huge out there what is available.
Yeah,
And like you said, making sure that you keep yourself updated with things that's happening. That is for every industry
yeah.
because IT and AI it covers everything.
Yeah, and I think one thing that especially new photographers might battle with, you need to understand that things can go kind of skew very
Mm,
quickly,
mm.
in the sense of you might have you have confirmed with everybody about the photo shoots for the next day, and tomorrow morning you wake up and realize the weatherman has lied about the
Yeah,
weather,
let's not forget
and
about the
there's a major
weather.
storm, yeah, and suddenly your whole
Yeah.
plan changes. So you have to, so it's difficult some days that you cannot really plan
Mm,
properly ahead and say, oh, for this week I'm
mm.
gonna have so many appointments. And
True.
clients phone and say, my kid has just fallen
Also,
off the
that too.
steps. So they've hurt themselves. We need to
Correct.
go to the doctor. So
Yes,
things
enough.
like that happen.
Mm,
So just be aware. Like I think in any industry, things happen, life
mm,
happens,
mm,
and your plans change. So
mm,
and I know, especially when you a photographer, kind of having things confirmed in black and white is
mm.
very important. But just realize that things can change
Yeah.
at any
Mm.
time.
So I would say then that you need to be very strong with your admin
Yeah.
because you can't depend on an agent or anyone to make sure that your appointment is set. You, as the photographer and the agent, need to make sure that everyone's remembered of the appointment. It's a lot of admin
Yeah, I think with any
with us, and
person
I can
that's
imagine with you as well.
Yeah, I think with any person that's a solo person in the
Mm.
company, or the smaller the company, the more kind of
You
duties fall on
everything,
you.
everything. Yeah.
So yeah, as a photographer, if you're a solo photographer, there's some days where you wish you can just look at your computer and it knows what it needs to do,
Yep.
but we're not there yet. Or that
Mm.
computer's probably there, but it's the most expensive one you
Now
can
that's true.
buy.
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, so just know that everything falls on you, and
Mm.
admin still remains a big,
Yeah.
important part of your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually forgot about the drone footage.
Yeah, the drone is a bit of uh, uh, a touchy subject at the
Mm.
moment. South Africa has got some of the strictest drone regulations
Okay.
apparently in the world, as far
Yeah.
as I understand. So we've got a lot of very strict drone regulation, and a lot of um, uh, drone certificates and
Okay.
licenses that people
Oh,
need to have to be
I didn't know that.
a legal drone
Oh,
operator. Yeah.
wow.
So that's quite a bit of a can of worms that have to be
Mm.
opened up. But if you want to do drone photography or drone
Mm.
videography, it is crucial for you to just read up on all the legislation that's going through.
So I am having so much fun. I don't know about you. Are you having fun? I'm enjoying this. You are such a great interviewee.
Oh, thanks.
So, very last question, and I always like to ask something like this because I'm sure you have loads of stories to tell. So, can you tell us a funny or awkward story of like you throughout your years of being just a real estate photographer.
Yeah, I must say, yeah, a lot of funny things can happen in houses, very unexpected things as well that you never think you would go
Yes.
through. And I actually said to Colette earlier that probably the funniest story that I went through is not something I can say on a family show, but believe me, all that I can say is if I had to walk into old Tanny with a bottle of wine in her hands and she says she likes doing cartwheels in the yard, you'll just see the next moment my feet disappear over the closest 4 meter high wall. And I won't say anything more about
Yeah,
that
you
one.
can make up your own story where
Yeah.
that went.
But funny stories that at least we can talk about
Yeah.
is it was kind of right in the beginning. I think one of my first photo shoots that I had to do, I think in the first 4 months.
That's cool.
And I walked into a flat in Parklands, and the owner's wife was in the bed. And he said, my wife said she's not going to get out of the bed, so you need to take photos around her. And I thought he was joking.
Yes.
So I did all the photos everywhere, and I came back to the bedroom and she was still in the bed. So I said to him, well, I'm finished everywhere now, but I need to still do the bedroom. And your wife's still lying in the bed. And he said, but I told you, my wife said she's not going to get out of the bed. You have to take the photos with her in the bed. So I took photos, and those days Photoshop was not as helpful as these days. So it took me probably about 3 days just to get the bed to look like a bed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I must say that was, I realized after that I would never say to somebody, I'll take a photo with somebody in the bed and hope I can edit it into existence.
Yeah, but now you can do it. I mean, I have sometimes taken photos on my phone where you have this thing where you can just remove everyone else in the photo.
That's it.
And then it's just gone. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think the technology, the photographers, a vast majority might be using Lightroom and Photoshop.
Yes.
Although there's other amazing programs out there. But luckily, with all those programs, what is coming in technology-wise is fantastic. But people should also not fall in the kind of the groove that they think, oh, well, the photographer can Photoshop things right. It's a very thin line for us as photographers to, if somebody says, oh, that's a black mark on the wall, we're going to paint the walls this weekend, can you just Photoshop it out? Then we'll do. But if it's something like broken tiles off the wall and you don't know if it's really going to be replaced, we might be more reluctant to Photoshop that, because buyers might walk in and see that and say, are you trying to lie? Because I can remember there was no broken tiles in the photo.
Correct. That is true.
So unfortunately for us as photographers and for the agents, it's a very fine line that we can walk where we can edit stuff and where we won't edit stuff.
Yeah.
So never think the photographer or the agent is ugly or funny when they say, listen, we're rather not going to Photoshop that. The agents will know where those pitfalls might be. But if it's a silly thing like they've taken off photos and suddenly you can see that little patches look a little bit darker grey than the rest of the wall, we might Photoshop.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are things that we'll definitely Photoshop, but we won't Photoshop the whole house.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
And we've had the request where are we painting the house a dark grey next week, the house is yellow now, can you make the house dark grey? That's a bit too difficult.
Yeah, that is very
I'd rather come back when the house is dark grey and take a whole proper set of photos.
True.
And and coming back to funny stories, and I think the other funny story I can think of is we did a house where Shane, the elderly gentleman, has got signs of Parkinson's.
Okay.
So a few times he actually walked into the room and then forgot who I was. So I had to explain to him again who I am, what I'm doing here. And I kind of joked with his wife and said, if your husband walks in front of my photo, one of the ladies that look at the photos might just put in an offer for him with the house.
Does it come with a guy? Yes.
Yeah, me having kind of British sense of humor. And the lady, she looked at me and she said, you mean that they will actually buy him?
She was like, yes, I'm ready to sell him.
And that's what I saw. And I thought, lady, no, listen, this joke is going the wrong way.
Show, lady, wrong show. No, we're not here for that.
Yeah, that's sometimes rather keep your jokes to yourself.
True, eh? That's hilarious.
Shane, so that's it. But I think, for the future generations, the real estate market is always a market that's very busy. The gadgets, it's never going to be a market that is kind of just doing the same thing over and over. Things changes the whole time. The real estate agents probably see it even more than we that come in just with a product or a service. So yeah, so don't think that it's boring. It's always
Definitely
changing.
not.
There's always something new that's going to come.
Yeah.
And you know, we're seeing it with the Americans especially. There's now people that give you literally a virtual reality walkthrough through a house, you know,
I've
or
seen
they've
that,
got
yeah.
new developments and it's much more easier for buyers to walk through that new development in virtual reality. So, you know, those gadgets are coming our way eventually. And you might be surprised what direction your business take in the future.
True.
And it's or then for sellers, you might be surprised if the agents say, "Listen, we're bringing in our virtual reality guy to do something with your house." You know, so never think she's losing the plot.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you never know.
They've got a reason to ask you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of all I can think of.
Thank you so much. I just want to add though that I really enjoy working with you. Like your photos, I have to say that many of the times when clients would view, they would actually say that the photos actually match with the actual space.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it, I'm sure you've seen it before, where people take photos and it actually looks much bigger in the photos, and then you actually view the house and it's smaller.
Yeah.
So I'm always happy to when I hear that from clients.
Yeah, I think you have to be very careful when you do real estate photography because people, and especially these days, you know, people can walk in and they can actually sue agencies and say you're doing false advertising.
Yeah.
You know, you showed me a photo that looked like I can put a queen size bed in this room, and I got there and it's a single bed. You know, and we've seen those things happen. So, and I think a lot of those Americanisms are definitely coming this way, where people are very quick to kind of go the suru about the silliest things. So you have to be so careful about how you present your houses for agents. And, you know, you tend to think, oh, I'll buy the widest lens and that's the way I'm going to go.
No,
and it's not the right way always. Sometimes, you know, you've got huge rooms that you do want to have a wider angle to kind of cover more things. Or you might have a very small bathroom and you do want to make it appear just a bit bigger, so that you just don't have a photo of a toilet seat on your photo, you know. So you have to have a variety of lenses. But yeah, it is crucial to kind of not overdo things when you try and present a house, you know. So you don't want to Photoshop all the cracks out of a wall, and the buyers get there and they realize there's some settling crack problems.
That's definitely not going to work.
So luckily the agents are lucky savvy enough to also tell you, listen, hang on a bit. The way you've edited this photo is maybe not exactly what I want. So be open to some criticism as well. But don't let criticism as well get to your head. And why I'm saying that, some photographers might kind of put their photos through to some groups that kind of give some advice and whatever. And some people are quite ruthless on those groups. So you might have a guy that is, you think it's your best photo you've ever taken, you submit it and they say it's the worst photo they've ever seen, and you feel down for like 5 weeks. So don't let that always get to you. Get a sense of who you want to be as a photographer and what good service you want to give, and stick to that formula. Just go for it and see how each time you walk out, you've given the best product possible. Yeah.
I mean, ended on a very high note there. Just do your thing.
Yeah, and a bottle of wine or two.
I mean, wine helps for a lot of things, eh? Just gonna say.
Oh, shame, but thank you so much for letting me come
Thank you. I really enjoyed this chat. I actually realized it's probably gonna be 2 episodes because we chatted so well. Time flies when you're having fun. So thank you very much for being
Thank
on the
you.
channel. I will also put the information about the company details as well as you only have the Instagram, right?
We've got a Facebook page as well.
Okay.
And it's so yeah, so I'll give you those
Yeah. So
information
I'll
as
put
well.
all that info. You guys can go and check out these other photos. He doesn't just work for our office, he works for various agencies and like you said, architects and all of those things.
Yeah.
So go and check out the photos. Really great stuff. And thank you again for joining me on today's episode. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of Your Property Journey.
Okay, bye-bye. That's it.
Beautiful.
Thank you.